Good morning. Welcome to the Cicala kitchen. I'm Patty, and I'm happy to have you join me today. So last night I made a shepherd's pie, which was delicious, and I have some leftover mashed potatoes, so I thought today would be a good day to make one of our family favorites, a mashed potato focaccia, which is super simple, easy peasy, and you can top it with anything you like. So I'm just going to use what I have around here in the fridge. To start, we're going to need yeast. Now, if you're using those little packets, one packet is fine. I buy yeast in bulk, and I have a yeast spoon, which is 2 1/4 teaspoons. That's the exact amount that should be in those little packets. So 1 packet or 1 yeast spoon of bulk yeast. I make all our breads around here, do a lot of baking, so buying in bulk just makes more sense for us. Okay, about, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon or half a tablespoon of sugar. Sugar helps the yeast activate, so just give it a little bit in there. And 1 1/2 cups of warm water. Now, usually I would tell you to let this yeast bloom for a bit, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, till it gets nice and bubbly and you know it's working. This is a new container of yeast and I've already used it. I know it's good, so I really don't have to wait that long. I'll give it a quick mix. There we go. Okay, mashed potatoes. I have leftover, and I will still have leftover. And about 6 tablespoons of olive oil. Focaccia doughs tend to use more oil. I also have here 5 cups of all-purpose flour. Now, I may or may not use all of this. It's usually between 4 and 5 cups. The temperature, the humidity, the conditions in your kitchen will all determine how much of the flour you need to use. I'm not going to add the salt till I put some of the flour in there. I don't want to mix it in that bowl of flour because if I don't use it all, it's going back in my container and I don't want it salty. So here goes. We're going to do 6 tablespoons of olive oil. We are going to do 1 cup of mashed potatoes. Now, if you have a few tablespoons more, go for it. There we go. I'm too lazy to go get another measuring cup, so I can just use this one. Yeah, I'm actually going a little over a cup here. And dump that in, just like that. And I'm going to put some of this flour on here, maybe half, and then a teaspoon of sugar, salt. Teaspoon of salt. I'm using sea salt here. You can use Himalayan pink salt, whatever works. I don't want to wear this. So give it a quick stir and see how it's looking. Definitely need more flour, probably all of the rest of this. I may actually need to add flour today. So far that is 5 cups of flour. Again, we are in North Carolina and it has been very cold for here. It's sunny today, but it's cold, but no humidity. That's working really well. So what I'm going to do, hang on. Just a little bit of flour on a board. I'm gonna mix it up for another second. And we're good. I just made the puppy jump with that noise in the sink. She's adorable. She is afraid of her own shadow, this dog. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna flour my hands just a little bit. Grab the dough out. It is a rather soft and sticky dough. That's exactly what you want. Just give it a quick knead. You can see how soft it is, or it's not floured, it's still sticking to my hands. That's perfect. I'm going to form a bit of a ball. Hang on there. Wash my hands. I'm using a dough bucket. You can use a large bowl with saran wrap over the top. I have these in multiple sizes. So this is my smaller one. You can see the markings on the side, and it will tell you, you'll be able to see when the dough has risen to double in bulk. So I'm giving it a quick spritz. In goes the dough. I'm going to turn it over so it's coated on all sides. Cover it and leave it for an hour. Put that in the warmest spot in your house. I typically turn on our gas fireplace and put my dough buckets about 1.5 feet in front of the fireplace, and it works beautifully. Okay, in the meantime, while the dough is rising, we can prep our fillings. So today, I'm going to be using some small grape tomatoes that I need to use up. I lined a pan with aluminum foil, and I'm going to roast these. I'm going to use roasted vegetables on top, and what I'm using today is tomato and one of my favorites, fennel. When fennel is roasted, it has a beautiful sweet taste. So this has been washed, and I'm going to cut it up. I want to save these fronds because I will be using them later on the top. So we're going to cut this and put it aside. Take out those outer leaves that might not be as nice, and cut out the core. If you make a V cut, you should be able to get it right out. There we go. I want to get the last bit of that core, because that's pretty tough. Okay, I'm going to slice it and put it on another pan. This is so good roasted. I use it in pasta. I use it to top focaccias. I love fennel, and I think it's a very underrated and underused vegetable. When I was growing up in our very Italian family, at all the holidays, after a big meal, my grandmother and my older aunts would bring out the fennel. They called it finocchio. The finocchio was brought out to eat raw after a heavy meal because it's known to be good for your digestion. So finocchio was a part of every big meal or holiday in our Italian household. As I got older, I cooked with it more, and it's awesome. It's got a, when it's raw, it's known to have a licorice kind of licoricey taste and smell. It smells really good, actually. So there we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is drizzle both of these trays with some olive oil and sprinkle them with salt. And as far as the tomatoes go, there's nothing that goes better with tomatoes than a little thyme. So I'm going to show you a little trick I saw actually on TikTok. Now, typically I just laugh at these things, but I thought it was so funny I'd try it, and it actually kind of works. If you take one of your cheese graters, or, I mean, I use this as a zester, and put the stem through the hole, pull it through the other side, pulls all the leaves off. Who knew? So that is one way to de-leaf your thyme. I'm just going to rip down the sides, get what I can. This focaccia was extremely popular with customers. It is extremely popular with my family. It's so easy because once that dough is made, you throw it on a sheet pan. It's kind of free form. Whatever toppings you like. Sliced roasted potatoes, garlic, roasted garlic, onions. Now I started thinking I should have roasted some garlic. That would have been awesome. I just didn't think of it this morning. Okay. So there's some thyme, which I'm sprinkling over the top. I'm going to use my hands. You cook with love, you cook with your hands. That's just the way it is. Mix this up. And these are going to go in a preheated 400-degree oven. I'm going to predict probably about 20 minutes. You want them nicely roasted, but not brown, and definitely not overcooked. Just roasted, because they're going to go back in the oven on top of the focaccia. And I will see you in about an hour. And we're back. Okay, so it's been about an hour. You can see here I have the roasted vegetables, the tomatoes, and the fennel. I put them on one pan just to make life a little bit easier. And you can see how much the dough has risen if you look at the markings on my dough bucket. Again, large bowl with saran wrap over the top is just fine. About an hour. So what we are going to do is lightly oil this baking sheet. Now I have a Silpat on here, but you can use parchment, whatever you like. And all I'm going to do is dump out this dough. How easy is that? Oil my hands a little bit and press it out. I'm going to freeform it. If you have a larger pan, you can make it round, you can make it rectangle, oval, and use your fingertips to dimple the top. Press them in there. You want those dimples to stay, if possible. It'll catch all the nice oils and juices from your veggies. Okay. Now, I love Kalamata olives. Didn't happen to have any today, so I had some Italian black olives that I cut up that I'm going to add to this. So let's take our tomatoes and just spread them around. Make sure you grab that thyme. I have done this for parties and made the top very fancy and pretty, made a flower shape with herbs and vegetables, and you can do that. But this is just for me and my husband for dinner tonight, so I'm not going to get fancy. Okay, now we're going to take the fennel. I have to tell you, I tasted a couple of pieces of this. It's so good. It is so, so good when it's roasted. You'll see I let it get softish, but not brown. Whatever's left will go on a sandwich for lunch. Yum. Okay. Wipe my hands. I do a lot of laundry around here. Okay. Oh, the olives. Let's throw a couple of these on there. Whatever's left is going into our dinner salad. But I really wish I had some calamatas. Those are my favorite for this. But these Italian olives will be fine. Okay, I have some more of that thyme from before. I'm going to throw that on there. And these are the fronds from the fennel. Fennel is also known as anise, A-N-I-S-E, if your supermarket has it and lists it as anise. That's the fennel, the finocchio that I talked about. Okay. Now I'm taking it off the big stems and giving it a rough chop. There you go. And throwing it on there. Now, you can use regular old olive oil, but I'm going to use a flavored oil today since I did not remember to roast some garlic, which would have been great on here. I'm using a garlic flavored oil, and it's just literally a drizzle. My oven is preheated to 425. There you go. And this will go in for about 20 minutes. And at the end of that 20 minutes, we'll be back and show you the beautiful focaccia that my husband is going to love tonight. See you later. Here we are. Now I have to tell you, in this oven, it took about 25 minutes. In my old oven, it used to take about 18 to 20. Everybody's oven is different, so double check on your own. Look at that gorgeous focaccia. I'm going to slide it right onto, I'm gonna ruin that, right onto this. Oh, look at this, it's sliding all over the place. We are renting, as I've mentioned before, I think, and I don't like this kitchen. We are blessed with a lovely large home. Everything in this house is wonderful, but as my best friend said, whoever built that kitchen didn't cook. Hard to get used to. We have no space, there's no counter space, which is why I work on this cooktop. The oven is smaller than standard size. I call it my easy bake oven. My largest pans don't actually fit, but we make do. You can make a wonderful meal even in a not so wonderful kitchen. So, check this out. Does that not look wonderful? And I have to tell you, it smells amazing. I think my husband's going to be one happy camper tonight. Hope you enjoy. Please come back and join us again. I will be going through my old blog, and I actually have some ideas, and I've had some requests in the last couple of days. So I have an amazing soup coming up, a really traditional old school bread found in Italy. Lots of things coming up, lots of ethnicities, and I hope you join us again. Have a wonderful day. Bye.